Autopsy.
Yeah.
Spice must flow, baby.
Here's our April Fools for you all. The commentary Beastmaster Remaster is in the house.
Yeah, welcome back, Frank.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome back.
Representing that Dune shirt there.
Fresh from Arachna Doom planet. There we go.
5 houses.
The commentary Beastmaster of Remaster.
Remaster.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's what it's all about. Welcome back, Frank. And of course, you guys know him, you love him. Kung Fu Santa, welcome back, Rick. Oh, yeah, that's right. Representing that Kung Fu and that Hi-Ya shirt, that Hi-Ya sweater. I love it. Yeah, baby. Yeah.
Again, this is
going
one
on?
like Rumble in the Bronx. I think I'm the only one with this sweatshirt in the world.
You might be, actually.
I think I am.
What is going on?
Hey, everybody.
Movie loving badasses. It's your boy, Preston, PhatSamuraiGuy. We are back again with another episode of Action Film Autopsy, baby. And yeah, we have a plethora of things to discuss and talk about. But before we get into that, there's no samurai shout-outs clip this episode. I know.
I was looking forward to that.
I'm sorry. I'll have more clips for the next AFA for sure next month. So not this month. But never mind all that nonsense. We have more important things to do. And that is...
First, no, hold on.
Go first.
Hold on. I'm just going to tell everybody that originally what you're about to see is upside down. Originally, we were about to start with the smaller films. We're going to do the independents, then we're going to move through until we get to the theatricals.
Yes.
But we're going to do it all upside down now. We're going to do the theatricals first.
Because we've been to Hollow Earth.
Because now everybody's here. Jake, Eric, Brandon, Jet, Michael, you ready? We're here. The reason we're doing the theatricals first is somebody has to leave early. And the reason they have to leave early is, ready? All together now.
Yes.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear friend. Happy birthday to you.
There you go. Oh, there you go. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Happy birthday, brother.
Hey, thank you. Yeah, it's already April 2nd somewhere. So yeah.
He's being brought out to lunch, not to dinner, by what, your sister?
My sister, yeah.
And so he has to leave early. So there we go. There's all the happy birthday stuff.
Hey.
So you, Frank, you are in charge of the theatricals. What do you want to talk about first?
That is a very good question. Well, since I have my Doom t-shirt on, let's start with Doom Part 2.
Yes.
Part 2.
Oh, yeah.
And so let's start. Go ahead, Frank.
All right. So I've seen this twice, and the
wait a minute. How'd you see it? In what theaters did you see it?
First time in IMAX.
Right.
Second time Dolby Cinema.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Jet Tiger. So I've seen it twice, and first time when I watched it first time, I felt that the first film is still better. It was better than this film.
Mm-hmm.
I felt that the first film has more world building and more mystery. It was more animatic, more visual, more cinematic than this one. But then when I saw it again a second time, now that I knew how the film was going to flow, because I felt that when I saw the first time, I felt the story. But he needs to tell a story now. He has everything set up in the first film. He has the world building. Yeah. Oh, I love it too. Yes. So he has the world building. He has set up everything. But then by now, you got to have a story. You got to tell a story because now you have the emperor involved, everybody else involved. So I felt the story kind of got into the way of the visual storytelling part or the visual artistic part. But when I saw it again the second time, it didn't bother me that much. And although I still felt that first film was better, I think this film is almost as good as the first film. And in terms of the scale, the action, the production design, the art design, the music, and all that. Although, again, I think because of the fact that the first film dealt less with the politics and all that, the second film, I think, kind of just the story itself makes the second film maybe not as visually compelling as the first film, and that it has to somehow he needed to spend more time on the story this time. I think and so in a way, it's like, oh shit, I can't do this now because I did that in part one, and I got to, do this. I got to introduce this nephew of Baron, all that jazz. So again, like I said, the story kind of just affected the visual, the art part of the second film. But still, I think it was a great film, fantastic production. Everybody was good, and I do look forward to the. I mean, they have no choice; they got to make the third film now. So yeah, I look forward.
It does depend on the box office, but I think the box office will do fine enough that they will. But we'll see. Fat, do you have any opinions on the film?
Well, I haven't seen it yet, but
okay.
Me and all of you watching right now, make sure you check out me and Frank's review of the first Dune. That was my introduction to the Dune world. I never even seen the one in the 80s, film in the 80s. So I was a newbie coming to the world, and Frank, had the knowledge of it. But it was a great review. So make sure you guys check that out. But I really enjoyed. I thought I was gonna hate Dune. I really did. I was like, I'm gonna fall asleep. This is gonna be boring. But I really, really enjoyed it. So I'm looking forward to checking out the sequel. Just haven't got around to it yet. But I think, Rick, Frank, correct me too. I think this made more money than the first Dune, didn't it?
Oh, not yet.
Not yet? Okay. Okay. It's getting close, man.
Not yet.
Okay.
And then one thing I also want to point out quickly is that for a blockbuster, for a quote unquote blockbuster, okay, I mean, this is obviously, even though no matter how, weird and what sets up, it's still, I mean, obviously the target is still your main demographic, but for a blockbuster, it's a pretty weird blockbuster. You have moments, that really kind of like matches something that like David Lynch did in his Dune.
Okay.
I mean, look, it's kind of. I mean, don't you feel it's kind of weird to have a woman talking to her own baby? That sort of thing. I mean, yeah, he can't, but he put it off. He put it off.
Okay.
He was able to put you into this world and accept whatever weirdness that he can show you. And I find that actually quite. I mean, again, that's like a kind of like an accomplishment for this kind of film to have this kind of quirkiness from time to time, which I think it wouldn't have. You normally don't see in a film that kind of cater to the common demographics.
Well, here's my situation. Again, I'm in a unique position. I was around when the novel originally appeared. I was a major member of the Science Fiction Writers of America at that time, who specialized in their media. I met Frank Herbert at one of the World Science Fiction conventions that I attended and supplied the media for. And I've seen every Dune adaptation that there is. So I came with this, sort of like going, been there, seen that.
Mm.
And I really admire the filmmaker a lot, but I know his work, so I expected nothing less than what I saw. And so with Dune 2, again, I was interested in the changes he made, but also since this is the action film Autopsy, I thought I would concentrate specifically on the action. And again, because of my past and because of what I see happening now and in the future, although we're in a kind of unique place right now in that the studios are desperate for things that are going to be guaranteed successes. So it's not as important to them to break the mold or do something surprising or interesting. They want to give their audience comfort food so everybody will come to the theater. So the thing that bothered me about every Dune, except maybe Lynch's, because I've seen, what ostensibly the director's cut, is that as a science fiction writer, I was told when I was starting my science fiction novel writing career that writing science fiction is just like any other writing. You have to choose words. The only difference is that in science fiction, you have a lot more words to choose from. And everything in a science fiction novel has to be questioned. In a mystery novel, I think I may have mentioned this before on one of these things, when a detective goes to the door and goes out into the street, you don't have to describe the door, you don't have to describe the street. In science fiction, you kind of do, because you have to establish the world. And so after a while, I get very tired of science fiction that only has humanoids in it. When you go to another planet, and also all the research I've done on our own planet. In other words, when you look at Earth and you look at, going out into wherever you guys live, Frank, you and and you guys on the West Coast and me on the East Coast, if you're not looking at the world around you like a science fiction writer, all you see is, right in front of your face. And everything like Pixar and others, all they care about are humans. I mean, when we have Pixar does Soul and you go into the afterlife, it's only humans. And it's like, that's bull. And so here we have a science fiction thing with humans. And they're humans on a planet that is, you see the planet there. And how do they fight? Who was it?
Roger Yuan.
Roger Yuan
Yeah.
was the action choreographer. Are the fights in this different than anything else? Are the fights designed to work? Are these guys fighting on another planet? No, they might as well be on Earth for all the difference the fighting is. And I have to admit that disappointed me because I wanted them to fight on sand, and and in the fight, the opening is all in the sand, out on the dunes, and all the rest of it. The worm is super cool. The writing is super cool. But when they're fighting the way almost any soldier would. They don't adapt at all. So I was kind of bored by it.
Okay.
But the wilder things got, the more the movie went on, the more I appreciated it. And I liked the little twists and turns. But again, at the end of there, I'd like to say, as I said, Dune there, been that, what is it?
Been there, done that.
Yes, done that. See, been there, done that. Dune that too. So it was fine.
Okay.
And I wish it all the best, but it wasn't extraordinary.
And I think that, again, I mean, a lot of them disagree with it. And Tim and Hector, he said Dune was better pacing. Well, I don't know, because that part with the nephew, I think that whole scene, I just felt it went on a bit too long. I think they could have just, there's certain exposition part where I felt it could be shorter. But again, going back to the first film, he knew that this is my own. I mean, if I screw this up, I'm not gonna make a sequel. So he went all out. You can tell he pulled all the stop. He put out all the tricks on the first film. So he realizes he put everything he got on that first film. So once that film succeeded, and then he knew he was gonna make a second film again. I mean, you can call it compromise. You can say he slacked off a bit, whatever. In terms of the artistic accomplishment, I just felt that part two was just slightly less than part one. Because it was all in part one.
Well, you can understand that. Again, now as a filmmaker, Frank, you should understand they had the two huge strikes. They were interrupted, and he had to rush to get it out. And and especially because you, Frank, were always going, "Where is it? I want to see it. Show it to me now." So so listen, I can understand his efforts. But be that as it may, so Dune worthwhile, but again, the action not as strong. What do you want to do next, Frank?
Did you like the action in the first movie, Rick?
No,
or same thing, right?
Worse.
Oh wow, okay.
Worse. There were all sorts of places in the first movie where they could have done something. And I like this word, extraordinary.
Frank, did you like the action in the first one and the second one?
Well, again, because he's building the world in the first one, so anytime you see a fight in the first one, it felt kind of fresh, a little bit fresh, with the shields and all that stuff. But then, of course, by the time the second film came out, I do agree with Rick in that. It just felt kind of too grounded for me in terms of the fight, and also, and remember in the Lynch version, they also use a sound as a weapon. How come Villeneuve didn't use? How come Monsieur Villeneuve? How come he didn't use the same element, sound, as part of the fight? I think that would have enhanced the sci-fi elements. But still,
and I believe because he was rushed. I believe the studio was on his back the way you were. In other words, let's go. We got to get it out now.
Yeah.
Did any of you buy the Dune bucket?
Oh God!
No!
The Dune bucket is the best thing ever. That's so awesome. That Dune bucket is great. The only thing that was better was the Minions button, where you would take off its skull and eat out of its head. That was awesome. But it be that as it may. What do you want?
Well, I have to say one last thing before we move on. The one that I do
Yeah.
have to say, these two Dune films has the best desert scenes since Lawrence of Arabia, no doubt about it. The way the desert was shot. That's all. All right.
I don't necessarily agree with that because there was the other one that was yeah, I love the desert scene in John Wick 4. That was based on
Lawrence of Arabia.
Lawrence of Arabia, yeah.
Frank, what's next, brother? You got the pick. It's birthday boy pick.
Okay, I got the pick. Well, let's go Kung Fu Panda 4.
Okay. Now you've done it.
Now, Rick.
All right.
Rick,
yes.
before Frank gets started, you were a consultant on the first film
and on the first Nickelodeon television show.
That's right. Yep. I just want to remind everybody watching that Rick was a consultant on the franchise when it first started. Frank, thoughts on the fourth movie?
So I saw in 3D, which was okay. The 3D was not particularly strong, and this the four films that we talk about here. There's two films that makes it to me kind of falls under I'm glad it exists, but why? Kind of the category. And I think this was the first film. I mean, I'm glad there's a 4. I'm glad they made it. I'm glad it was kind of successful. It is successful, I guess.
It'll do fine.
But why? The why thing was because if you cannot top part 3 or the previous film, why make a part 4? I mean, I
have the answer.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yeah. Money.
No, money partly, but not majority. The thing is, my feeling is that Kung Fu Panda 1 and 3, Kung Fu Panda 3 is the sequel to 2, but it's the sequel to 2 because 2 just screwed the pooch. 2 is, like I said, might as well been called martial arts marsupial. There's no Kung Fu in Kung Fu Panda number 2. So 1 and 3 go together. 2 and 4 go together. 4 is basically a sequel, but that's not why they made it. There's two words. One is 4 letters, one is 5 letters. The 5-letter word is black. The 4-letter word is Jack. What many people may not realize, because it came and went with nary a whimper, is that Jack Black produced a Netflix Kung Fu Panda series, which was awful. It was worse than number 2. It basically was, my favorite kind of animated movie. It had bad animation. It had bad design and bad animation because he was doing it quick, and he was doing it to give him something to do. Because during the strikes and during the pandemic, he really couldn't get back into his music as much as he wanted to. So he knew that Poe the Panda was his ticket to ride. And when Netflix said, yeah, we'll do it, he did it. So this number 4, I knew we were in trouble when he made the theme song of this movie, Hit Me Baby One More Time. Again, that's martial arts. That's not Kung Fu. Number 3, the Kung Fu Panda 3, is showing you the difference. And in fact, Kung Fu Panda 3 had 2 different versions of Everybody Was Kung Fu Fighting. The song Everybody Was Kung Fu Fighting. 2 different versions of that song with new lyrics in both versions, taking out the word fighting. So if he had learned anything from Kung Fu Panda 1 and 3, what he could have still done the song. Yeah. He just should have retitled it Heal Me Baby One More Time. Not Hit Me Baby One More Time. And sure enough, this movie, and there's also other things in the the villain in the 4th one looks like the villain in the 2nd one.
Yeah.
And the same, it's the peacock.
Peacock, yeah.
And also the end of
in the 4th one, but he looks like a peacock. He looks like Gary Oldman's character from
Wow.
Right. And so in the 2nd one, the peacock said they had a weapon that would destroy Kung Fu. And that weapon was a cannon. A cannon can't do shit to Kung Fu. First of all, even if you're doing martial arts, let me show you the defense against the cannon. Yeah. That's it. You just don't, and then the end of the movie, Poe catches, throughout the movie, he's trying to catch the cannonball. How incredibly stupid can you be? And that again is martial art, that stupid toughness, badassery. While Kung Fu in the first one, what he does in the first one is Tai Lung hits him with all this stuff. It goes through his body and returns to him and that's a real Kung Fu technique, And so here in this, and at the end of Kung Fu Panda 2, he catches the fucking cannonball and then throws the cannonball. It hits a huge smokestack. The smokestack goes and kills the villain.
Yeah.
Again, and after he catches the cannonball, he goes skadoosh.
Yeah.
And of course, skadoosh has nothing to do with that. If in the first movie, skadoosh, he establishes what skadoosh is.
Yeah.
And the director told me, and I also told the director, that skadoosh means that he had reached another step on his road to enlightenment, not on his road to being badass or tough or fisticuffs. So here, him doing skadoosh doesn't work at all in the second one because catching the cannonball is not enlightenment or anything close to it. However, when the huge smokestack was going on to the villain, had Poe taken the villain and pulled him out of the way, and then the thing would have crashed and not killed the villain would have looked at Poe and went, "Why did you do that for me?" Poe could have said, "I didn't do it for you." Skadoosh. That's his next step on the road to the Enlightenment, where he's going to save him. He's going to save everybody. He's not going to extract it. So the fourth one, we're back to a complete misunderstanding of what Kung Fu is. The villain explains why they've become the villain that they are. And
also,
go ahead.
And also the fact that the villain, like they talk about what the villain wanted to do early on. But we didn't see the villain did what he set out to do, or she, because it's voiced by Viola Davis. But she didn't do what we've been expecting to do until almost the very end. That really hurts the movie, because she became what she said she's going to do, and it started, wreaking havoc and all that throughout the film. But the whole reason that she became a villain is that she wasn't accepted in a Kung Fu school because she was too short. Height has nothing to do with Kung Fu. Some of the most powerful Kung Fu artists I know are this big. Hey, look at an ant. Yeah, look at me. But be that as it may, it's just, and also, as you know, who's one of the Fabulous Five? Jackie Chan.
No, the Mantis.
Oh, the Mantis.
The Mantis is this big. So the movie, again, it's still okay.
It's still okay, and I'm glad we saw it. I'm glad it existed, but again, it's not as good. I mean, it
was only there because it was automatic money, and it gave Jack Black something to do.
Yeah, and I mean the fact that the five, the Mantis and all that, they weren't in the movie kind of hurt the film, and also to have again, we have another your typical sidekick character with the Aquafina character. I mean, there's just nothing innovative. Nothing.
And they also borrowed that. Of course, nothing innovative, because there's another major reason why they put this out, because they knew it would get a birth in China, because China has the Chinese Universal Studios with an entire Kung Fu Panda land.
Right.
And if you go into and they have a gigantic theater there with a 360 4K screen, which looked a lot like some of the fights in this movie. So of course they were going to put out Kung Fu Panda 4 because they knew they were going to make money in China from it.
Right. Still, it's worth seeing. James Hong was terrific as usual. I mean, it's worth seeing for James Hong alone, really. And also Dustin Hoffman was good, but James Hong really stole the show.
Well, and the whole Dustin Hoffman line, in other words, with Poe having to to replace Uguay, which is not nonsense. Dustin Hoffman Shifu should have replaced Uguay. Again, it's just slapped together, but it's okay. If you need something to bring the kids, it has some Kung Fu content, but it again wasn't extraordinary.
Yeah.
It was a March movie.
Right. And then right after I saw it, I went back to see, part 3 again. And it's just like, like part 3 just better, Still, again, like I said, I'm glad there's a 4. And again, but this is one of the 2 movies that we can talk about. Where do they go from there? I mean, obviously, if this film is successful, they're going to make a 5th movie. But where can they go now? Like, what path should they take?
Well, the other problem is that Kung Fu Panda 4, the Kung Fu Panda 1 and 3 were made by very powerful animating people. This one was by Mike Mitchell and Stephanie Stern, who worked on Shrek. They've all worked on sequels. They haven't worked on anything original. So, of course, it came out the way it was going to come out because nobody had insight into Kung Fu.
Mm-hmm. And also thought the animation was better in the previous film than this one.
Yes.
Good as it may, it's still the previous films are better. So
we have 2 G movies, one Godzilla, one Ghostbusters. What do you want to do?
I'm going to do Ghostbusters next because Ghostbusters, what? Well, let's save Godzilla for last. Come on.
Yeah, of course. Good idea.
Yeah, but Ghostbusters is my second movie of, okay, I'm glad they made it, but where do they go from here? I enjoy Afterlife. I thought Afterlife was good until that last 15 minutes when they just did, when they did that fan service to the extreme. Here, I felt the fan service part was actually done quite well.
Good. But they did a lot of it.
They did a lot of it, but it's not like in your face. It's not like in your face fan service. Like Dan Aykroyd was actually in this film much more than I expected, which is great. Right. I like him in every scene he was in. Of course, McKenna Grace, she's the main reason for this film. But I think, once again, because of the fan service, it hurt the story. I just felt that it hurt her. It should have been about her. It should be more about her story. And then because of the fact that they want to pay fan service to all the people that grew up watching this franchise, it kind of sidetracked the story. And I just felt that it's not a bad film. It's perfectly fine. But then the jokes fall flat. Paul Rudd and the girl, the woman, Connie, I think. It's Carrie Coon. Carrie Coon. Sorry, Carrie Coon has no part whatsoever. So and then all it kind of ended rather abruptly too. It's like, why can't they have like at the end? Why can't they have all the go? Like, why can't they have a scene where the crowd applauded the original Ghostbuster?
Well, that's not even the issue. At the end of the movie, only the main villain is killed. All the other ghosts are still there.
Yeah, that's right.
And the crowds are cheering. It's like, why aren't the crowds being killed?
I know.
And the other thing that, again, how you make an ordinary movie extraordinary is you face a reality. One of my favorite things is, what's his name? The guy from Eternals, the Indian gentleman. Why am I blanking?
Mujami, whatever.
Yeah. He says, we're all going to die. And my attitude is, I was waiting for Bill Murray to go, of course we're going to die. But it doesn't matter. Everybody's going to die. You see all these ghosts? They are proof of life after death. Who cares if we're going to die? And I've always hoped that Bill Murray, his character, would be killed and come back as a ghost.
Exactly, as a Ghostbuster after Ghostbuster. Yes.
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 And the whole thing. I was sitting there just going. There were so many good ideas, and I guarantee you, if I do research on this as a movie detective, that I would find out that all these people who worked on it, everybody had a different idea. And they finally went to the guy who owned the rights and said, which one should we do? And he went, all of them. Because this is 4 movies.
Yeah.
And as such, it's great fan service, more popcorn sold. Let's see what it actually does in terms of, what
you don't count the female version? You don't count all female version?
That was a real tragedy. That could have been so great, and it was so bad. Not a single smile for me in the entire film. And I idolized the original Ghostbusters.
Yes.
If only they had done it, properly. What was the movie that this week that just fell off 68%? Was that Ghostbusters?
That was Ghostbusters, yes. 68%.
Yeah.
Wow.
So there may not be another one.
Wow.
Yeah. And also, again, it's almost like they are now making these films, this and actually the next one where we're going to talk about the Godzilla film, for younger kids now, and that's actually kind of like my concern, because but remember the first Ghostbuster has tons of adult jokes.
Yeah,
here there's hardly any.
Right,
and it's almost like they're like, oh, Stranger Things, kids love Stranger Things. Let's make this more Stranger Things like, and kind of and then ignore us who grew up watching these films, and now that we kind of face it, we know we're now middle age, 40, 50, 60, whatever. And then we were expecting more adult stuff when instead we're seeing all these teenage things like her relationship with the ghost and all that jazz, you know.
Well, I liked that, but I
Oh,
bet
yeah.
you, I bet you that they probably have as much footage as Thor: Love and Thunder had. They probably have all the footage, and they could probably make 3 to 4 movies. And it would be lovely if, you know, Netflix would do a 4-part Ghostbusters director's cut. But I don't think the director wasn't one of the Reitmans. It was a guy they just handed it off to because they saw the writing on the wall.
Right.
It's not extraordinary. So let's get to Godzilla. You guys talk about it first.
Wait. One last thing, it's worth seeing for McKenna Grace. That's all I want to say. I mean, like Ghostbusters, at the very least, worth seeing for McKenna Grace. That's it.
Well, and also for fine. Yeah, you'll be fine. And the popcorn. I have to go to the bathroom. You guys talk about Godzilla. I'll be right back.
Okay.
So,
Frank.
Yes.
What'd you think, brother?
Well, it's dumb fun.
Yeah.
it's dumb fun. I mean, it's I saw it in IMAX 3D. It was fantastic. I mean, I don't care. I don't care. Like if you work or whatever, get your ass to an IMAX 3D theater to see this because they only usually like in most recent cases now they're only showing one IMAX 3D show in the afternoon. You know, one show a day. So, but try to catch it in IMAX 3D. It's just gorgeous. I mean, spectacular. But yeah, I mean,
I heard a lot of 40X. A lot of fans hit me up and they said 40X was a great experience too.
Yeah,
watching it and
the
seats move and all that stuff.
Oh yeah,
so, yeah.
I mean, again, like I said, dumb
now,
fun, but
were you like me when you saw the trailer for it?
Mm-hmm.
Were you like me and you're like, oh, I know what kind of kaiju movie they're making? Or were you like everyone else that shits on the movie and goes, oh, well, there it goes. It's not Godzilla -1.
Well, I knew it already. I mean, I already knew it's not Godzilla -1.
Exactly.
So
why would we compare this to Godzilla -1?
No, why are you comparing this to the Japanese series? No, not. You should not. I mean, obviously, again, in some way, this film is kind of like the other two films, in which again, this is now targeted for kids or younger kids, you know, and so,
or the kid in you,
all of us.
Yeah, the kid Godzilla's in all of us.
Yeah, so exactly, Godzilla's all of us. So obviously, they're not gonna go the serious route like what told. Although I wish they could have do it. I mean, I wish they could have gone a bit darker again. But I mean, you watch this film now, you realize we are so far away from the first Godzilla made by Gareth Edwards. Like, you know, in terms of tone, in terms of the storyline, in terms of like, you know, I mean, it's just like it's almost like it's not like the Alien franchise. You know, each film is different now.
Right.
Except that in this case, both this film and last one are directed by the same guy, and you know, he obviously goes for the same tone. I thought the effects are great. I'm amazed at the fact that in this film it's actually the kaijus that are the major character and not the humans. And I like that. Yeah. There's that whole sequence in the middle where it's all about Kong, right? And there's no dialogue. There's no human. It's all Kong and the other kaiju, I guess you can say that. But you know, and this Kong and the bees and the animals, and I love it. I thought that was great. You know, but and then the effects are great. I thought the effects were actually well done, or better than I thought it would, because when I saw the trailer, I thought, well, it looks kind of CGI, but no, the effects itself is actually quite well done. I wish that the final fight is just a little bit longer. Still,
Me too.
I also love how they don't give a shit about collateral damage. It's like, you know, like imagine how many people killed in Rome and Rio. They don't give a shit.
People complain about that. I'm kind of like, dude. In the history of kaiju movies where they destroyed cities, do you think they evacuated every city in every movie?
They did show the evacuations. They showed it up.
Yeah, but you knew
all the time.
Especially in Rome, you knew people were killed in Rome. No doubt.
Yeah. Brazil, they all got it.
In the previous Japanese movie, they could have made a movie about the guys who do evacuate the cities. Right. So in the Japanese movie's fine, but this one, remember, there is, you know, the Godzilla less than zero. And so this one was yin to that yang.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so I appreciated it because it really was a bookend.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, we have the adult, we have the childish.
Yeah. No. I mean, I'm fine with. I expected it to be. I knew this is not going to be -1. So again, like Fast Samurai said, people complaining about this. You know, you cannot. I mean, look, this is not -1. Look, why can't we have two
Exactly.
like why can't we have the tall one, keep it dark and on, serious and shit, and then we have this. But what I'm saying was, it's amazing how this film by now is so different from the first Godzilla film that Garrett Edwards did. And also, this film has nothing to do with the TV series, because prior to this film, I actually binge watched the entire Monarch series on Apple, thinking that they might be tied. There's some tie, no ties whatsoever. You don't even have to see the TV series.
Really?
Yeah, this is actually this is a direct continuation of the last film. But then again, there's not a lot of characters from the last film simply don't show up in this film. You know, like Madison and her dad is all gone, and the guy who went with the girl. I mean, the guy who went with the Monarch lady, he's not back. He got someone else back. I mean, different character this time.
This is also an homage to the old childish Godzilla movies.
Right.
You know, there you go. So,
I appreciate how they were able to, I mean, I don't want to spoil a character in this film, a kaiju in this film, because it's actually quite a nice surprise.
Hey, it's the action film Autopsy, man.
Right.
Go ahead.
Well, again, but people, I mean, you
come on, show it.
Well, Mothra came back.
Of course.
Yeah, Mothra came back.
Advertised.
It wasn't advertised. Mothra was not in any of the trailers. I didn't know Mothra came back.
Oh, I saw it on a YouTube review.
Yeah, luckily I missed it and I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised that Mothra returned. And then I get it, because that little girl. I mean, I like the fact that they moved that little girl setting, because obviously, before in the original series, they're all on the Infant Island and all that stuff. So now they just move it to a Hollow Earth, to the Hollow Earth area, which is great. I think it's a nice little touch. I mean, it's a nice way to pay homage to that storyline with the Mothra and Infant Island and all that stuff. And yeah, I mean, the fights are great, the effects are great. It's just that I still feel that Godzilla versus Kong is slightly better.
Okay.
It's just because of how iconic.
Right.
Yeah. There were two great fights in that film.
That's true.
Both Hong Kong fights, and those are, I mean, three if you count the battle on the sea. But all three fights were amazing. All three fights are very, very well done. Here, the battles are well done. It just doesn't have the same wow factor that I got when I saw the Hong Kong fights in the last, in the last film.
Go ahead. Another March movie to make money, and also to get something into the cinemas. That will be a guarantee.
Yeah, but again, I appreciate that they made this. I think it's as good as, I mean, it's good, not better than the last film, but it is good. And again, but I don't know where they're gonna go. I mean, they're gonna explore Monarch more, and what are they gonna do with what are they gonna do with Kong and Godzilla now? Who are they gonna fight next?
I think Adam Wingard said that if they do another one, it'll be more Godzilla story this time.
Oh yeah, good.
Instead of Kong. Do you guys want just another Godzilla movie, or do you want them to keep collabing together with Kong and Godzilla in every single Legendary Pictures movie?
I would like to see, for now, I would like to see the next one being just Godzilla versus a different monster.
Okay, Destroya or something.
I want the Smog Monster back.
Yes, bring it back, the Smog Monster, baby. Let's go.
I want Rodan back. I thought Rodan was fantastic.
Oh yeah,
the monster. Right?
Yeah, for sure.
So there's plenty of room to go. They've been doing this forever. They
Sky's the limit.
Forever. Yeah.
Although I heard that every time they want a monster from the Toho library, they have to pay big bucks for it.
Well, of course,
I'm sure they have it.
That's deserved.
Which is why for this one they have the Scar King was their own creation, right? I mean, not from the It's not from Toho, so that's why they don't have to pay. They don't have to pay licensing for having the Scar King,
Right.
So do you have 20 more minutes, Frank, or do you have to?
I do have, well, maybe 10 to 15 more minutes. Yes.
All right. So what do you want to talk about next? Do you know the list?
I haven't seen any of the rest though.
You haven't seen any of them?
No.
You
I've seen Three Bodies, but Three Bodies not.
No, that's not on the list.
Not action, yeah. So
did you haven't seen Shogun?
I saw I did see 2 episodes. Yes.
Then let's talk about Shogun.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shogun is, of course, everything. They did everything right that Avatar: The Last Airbender live action did wrong. They did everything right. This thing is just so, because I've read the book, that this was based on, and they do. And of course, Hiroyuki Sanada is getting his due finally.
Yeah. All
And
right.
and also the choreography is by two Japanese, and it's and I loved it that one of the choreographers is Hiru Minami, who was Keanu Reeves, who was Sonata's stunt double on John Wick 4. They met on John Wick 4 when Hiru doubled for Hiroyuki. And Hiroyuki said, why don't you come over to Shogun? Then bring your friends with you. And so they promoted a guy named Nobuyuki Opikani. It's his very first, he's a stuntman, but this is his first job as choreographer.
Wow.
And you could tell, I mean, they pieced this together beautifully. This is one of the best Japanese things I've seen. How do you feel, Frank?
I agree. I thought it was beautifully shot. It focused more on characterization. I like the fact that they use it's almost mostly Japanese dialogue, which is great. I mean, they all spoke in Japanese.
Yeah.
Instead of having like people like Hiroyuki Sanada speaking English with a Japanese accent, I mean, I like how they just tried to go for authenticity this time,
and the action is authentic.
Yes, action.
In other words, it's not sword play from the West. It's not sword play from China. It's not sword play from Korea. Right. It's Japanese sword play.
Yes. Yep.
Which is recognizable, and you can study it, especially since Sanada is such a master at it.
Yeah.
So and also what happens with Japanese swordplay is that's Japanese swordplay is a discipline as opposed to an art per se. So it's important on how everything is done. And unlike the Shogun that was done years ago with Richard Chamberlain, where the swordplay sucked, and also the swords were inaccurate. I was watching this, biting my fingernails, because in the original Richard Chamberlain Shogun, the lead character takes his sword. It's not a ninja sword, it's a samurai sword, and he swings it at the guy, and he misses the guy, and it hits a pole in the house, and then he struggles with it, and the blade breaks. And I went, it's like, no human can break a samurai blade. The ninja got inferior blades because they were ninja, so theirs could break, but an actual samurai sword, humans can't break it. Nobody can break it. And so in this movie, you're not going to see a breaking sword. So nice. I strongly recommend Shogun.
Oh yeah, no, Shogun,
especially from an action standpoint as well.
And Rick, now the show's done, right? It's completed.
I don't know. Is it? I haven't caught up to the last couple of episodes. Does any of our viewers know whether it's finished yet?
Let us know, guys, that are watching, if there's some couple of episodes left, because I just want to just pick a day and binge.
Oh, that would be great.
Yeah.
That's very wise.
There are more episodes coming. So.
Okay.
Yeah, it has more episodes. That's right. At this point, I am I can't decide what to watch. I mean, I started watching, I should mention this on Netflix, I started watching the Judge D mysteries, which are based on the Van Gulik books, the Dutch author who brought Judge D into the West. And what's hilarious is because Judge D wasn't one of the judges in Chinese lore. It was usually Judge Pao. The Five Deadly Venoms movie is a Judge Pao movie. And you see Judge Pao from the back, but you don't see his face. So now the Chinese are taking this Dutch creation and they've changed it to a great degree, but still it's very, very smart. But it's 32 one-hour episodes.
Ooh.
So it's kind of like, and that's fairly short for a Chinese series, because usually they go 50.
That's true.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, every single episode I managed to, I love it because their Judge D is just a effing genius. The opening episode takes place at an inn where Judge D is undercover. Nobody knows that he's a judge and that he works for the Empress or whatever. And they're trying to figure out who stole this pearl. And it's just a masterwork. It's a half-hour masterwork of observations, of Sherlockian detection. And I loved it. I just thought it was great. So that's another good thing. Anything else, Frank, before the of the list that you want to talk about or can talk about?
No, I haven't seen the rest.
Well, let me recommend that you watch the last half hour of Damsel. And if you like comic books at all, watch X-Men 97.
Okay.
Because then you'll know. But you can hang out here. You didn't see Anti-Drug Operation. You didn't see The One Percenter?
No.
And you didn't see Hunt the Wicked?
No, I have tons of commentaries to do. I don't have the time.
Oh, that's right. What are the commentaries you're doing now?
A tour coming out. Remember, I have a tour coming out.
Oh, that's right. Well, advertise that for the gang.
So guys, we're actually doing a tour with the great Bruce Lee, one of the most popular Bruce Lee clones. You know, some of you may know that I've produced a documentary on Bruce Exploitation called "End of the Clones of Bruce." So that's coming to Alamo Draft House starting next week. It's gonna have a 2-week run at Alamo Draft House, but for the first week, it's going to be running like most big cities. Well, the first week actually just going to be in 4 cities: New York, SF, LA, and Austin. And for that first week, we're bringing Bruce Lee to the screening of the documentary. And then after that week, the second week, when they still show the documentary, but of course without the guests and stuff, but it will be just regular screening. But still, it'll be in Alamo for like a 2-week run. So, for those of you who couldn't catch it last time when we started doing a festival, it's still going around in festival circles, but this is kind of like a 2-week regular national run. And then, of course, we have that Game of Clones box set coming out in June. Pre-order now on the Severin Film website.
They're going crazy. They're going crazy. When I post,
no, seriously, guys, go to the Severin site, go to the Alamo Draft House site, and get your ticket if you're in any of those cities. Even close, get your tickets because they are selling out fast.
New York and San Francisco shows already sold out. But New York, we might add a second New York show. Due to popular demand. So San Francisco a little bit tougher because of the scheduling. But New York, we're probably going to add a second show because the first Manhattan show sells out in like hours, like within hours, sold out. So we're most likely going to add a second Manhattan show. I'll announce it on my usual places and. But go to Severin's website and order the box set. The bundle sold out already. We have to have a limited 400 bundles with like tons of goodies. That sold out within 48 hours. But the regular box set is still available. You get an exclusive disc 8 if you order directly from Severin website. So in other words, when that box set becomes available on Amazon later on, you won't get that 8th disc. It won't have 7 discs. But you buy it from Severin, you get an extra disc. So.
Yeah. And that extra disc has those 2 exclusive rare movies, right?
Big Boss Part 2, and I think I forgot the name. Is the Way Dragon, something like that. But it stars Clint Robinson, who's an African American, like a Taekwondo master in that film. We actually found right before we were about to go to press with that disc, we were able to track him down. So he did a commentary on that film.
Oh wow!
Yeah, he's in Sacramento. We actually tracked him down. It's like he couldn't believe we found him.
Wow.
He said he hasn't seen that film and nobody asked him about the film for over 40 years.
Wow.
So, well, that's awesome, guys. So definitely check that out if you're in those cities and get the box set. It's once in a lifetime. Awesome. Yep. I'm looking forward to your next documentary. So
the next one may not be a documentary. Maybe a feature film.
Oh, hello.
Nice. Hey.
If it all goes well, but we have some great ideas. So
that's awesome.
Right. Love you, Frank. I know you got to go, brother.
Happy birthday, buddy.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
We'll see you on the next one.
I'll see you when I see you, man. Bye-bye.
All right, brother. All right. Take care, man.
Bye.
All right. Hey.
There we go. I thought he'd never leave.
Now we can really talk about him, man.
Now we can talk about television shows and movies. Yeah. So I guess the next one we can do the next two. Now we're getting into the Netflix section.
Okay.
So we've got The Gentleman. Yeah. You have the poster for that?
Yeah. How was the show? I enjoyed the movie. How was the show?
Surprisingly good. It is a direct sequel. If you haven't seen the Guy Ritchie original, Guy Ritchie did a movie called The Gentleman.
Yes.
Which was about a gentleman finding out that his family were actually drug pushers and him dealing with that situation. But he does it in a Guy Ritchie way. So it's very witty. It's very smart. It's very interesting. It's very unusual. Now, The Gentleman is a direct sequel to that, where the son of the leading character from the movie comes and discovers that his family is involved in this.
All right.
But it's nobody is famous. There's nobody really famous in this. Guy Ritchie doesn't. He wrote a couple of episodes. He produces the show, but he doesn't. I don't think he directs any episodes. But you can tell that everybody who works on this show loves Guy Ritchie and is dedicated to having the Guy Ritchie atmosphere and mystique. And it is, I think, 8 one-hour episodes. So I thought that, that's no, because the movie is 2 hours. So it's like, this is an 8-hour movie. But I'm at this point, I'm very entertained by the whole thing. It's smart. It continues to be smart and witty and interesting and involving. And the action is good too, because I immediately looked up the guy who did the action, and it's Crispin Layfield. And then I looked, as I always do, what he's done in the past, because that will tell me how the action will be. Crispin Layfield did the action on the mystery series Grantchester. He also did the choreography for Polite Society. Do any of you know the Polite Society movie?
I seen the trailer for it. It looked like it would be fun.
It is a lot of fun.
Okay.
It's a Bollywood English action film where a young lady takes martial arts, and she finds out that her best friend's mother is controlling her life and ruining her wedding. And so it becomes a big satirical martial art Bollywood English action movie.
Nice.
And Crispin Layfield did the action in that. He also did the action in Man vs. Bee. Do you know what Man vs. Bee is?
Is that Mr. Bean?
It's not. It's Rowan Atkinson, but it's not Mr. Bean.
Okay.
But it's kind of like Mr. B in that he's a guy who's being tormented by this bee, and he destroys his whole life and his house trying to swat this bee. They're able to extend this, and
hilarious.
It's because of Layfield. I'm looking for what Crispin Layfield does in the future.
Nice.
He also did the action in Doctor Who.
Okay.
So I love this guy.
All right.
And so The Gentleman was, for me, surprisingly entertaining. I didn't think they could maintain the energy throughout, but they do.
All right.
Now we get to jump to the other one, which disappointed me as opposed to delighted me.
Okay.
And that is Furies.
Okay.
Furies is another assassination show. This is a limited series, except they have the female characters. And Netflix loves doing that. They've done several movies with female characters. And I've been disappointed with every single one of them because, again, when if I see a show that has female characters as the main antagonists and protagonists, I want to see them fight in character. I don't want to see them fight as if they were men. Because for me, and I think for really anybody, even if though they may not admit it, it's not realistic. And the big problem is that women can fight incredibly smart. And that's how they should fight. But a lot of these, the actresses and the stars of these go, but I don't want to say that women are weak. No, but you should be saying women are smart. You shouldn't say women are as stupid as men. You should be saying women don't have to make a fist and punch. I want to be as strong as a man. Why? This is the stupidest thing you can do. And the other thing is that, now look at the young lady there. Okay. She's the novice apprentice Fury. The whole concept of the show is that the mob, the assassination world, the John Wick world, or let's call it the Joan Wick world that they're living in France. And this is a French one. And remember, I loved The Lost Bullet 1 and 2, which was also French films.
Yeah,
those were beautifully done.
Yeah, those are great.
This one's in France, but and also, what was the, they have that criminal one. Why am I blanking on the wonder? the Japanese criminal series anime. They do I'll remember that they do a French version of that one.
Okay.
But anyway, so this is another French show, so it should be better than it is, but it's not. It's Joan Wick. It's clearly they're doing Joan Wick with women instead of John Wick. But the blonde girl is female, is the Joan Wick. And she's dying.
Okay.
And she's looking to get an apprentice. And the brunette is the apprentice.
Okay.
Now, both of them, I'm glad they have this poster this way, because the blonde is another one of my least favorite female action characters in modern entertainment, which is the emaciated blonde. She's like, they're all trying to do Michelle Pfeiffer. I think I ever told you, but when I was working out in LA and Hollywood in the 80s, and I was working on the Twilight Zone, the reboot of the Twilight Zone, I'm coming up the stairs to the producer's office, and there was an emaciated, anorexic blonde in front of me going up the stairs. And I'm looking at her, and she's wearing, a sleeveless shirt and a micro mini skirt. And both her legs and her arms look like bones with flesh-covered bones.
Okay. And
I was going, ooh, because I had been anorexic back in the 70s. I was anorexic, so I know what it's like to be anorexic. And so whenever I see somebody who's anorexic, I go, ooh, poor thing. I know how it feels. It's terrible. Yeah. And I get to the top of the stairs, and the young lady turns to the right so I can see her face. It's Michelle Pfeiffer.
Oh, my goodness.
That's what I said.
Huh.
I went, oh, my God.
Yeah.
She looked like a Biafran baby. I mean, there was her shoulder, and it looked, you could practically see the bone of her shoulder cuff.
Wow.
So whenever I see women in these movies, I go, oh, another emaciated Biafran, another anorexic blonde. And of course, they're fake blondes. And also, I'm fine with that. It's okay if that's what the producer wants. Both women are in. The other woman, the brunette, is very small, and she's not emaciated, but she's very small. She's short.
Yeah.
Now you see that gun? I'm pretty sure that's what is that one? Is that a 77 caliber? Look how big that is.
Yeah, yeah.
Throughout the entire movie, both women use gigantic guns. And whenever they pick the gun up with one hand and point it at the villain, I'm just going. And then, of course, they pull the trigger, and they shoot the gun as if they're shooting a water pistol. Absolutely no reaction whatsoever.
No recoil, nothing.
No recoil. I mean, if they actually shot that caliber gun, and they have bigger guns in the show, it would rip their arms right off.
Right.
I've also, when I was writing the Dirty Harry novels, I made it a point, and I have friends who work in the military and in police, and I shot every gun, so I know what shooting guns are like.
Right, right.
So whenever I see a show like this, it's widely derivative. It is Joan Wick, but it's not done as well. It's very predictable. It's very stereotypical, and all the action is nonsense. So I don't recommend it.
Okay. Copy that. I still haven't seen it yet, so I'll have to check it out.
Please don't see it. There's so many other good things to see.
Yeah. I interviewed action director Jude Poyer, who did the action in this.
I'm sorry.
It's funny. He's a great guy. He's used to be a Hong Kong stuntman. He's an awesome guy. But I asked him about it. And I was like, hey, man, I saw the trailer for Furies. It looks kind of cool. I haven't watched it yet. And he said, he's hired to go in and do a job, but he said he hasn't seen it himself. So he himself does not know if it's good.
Well, remember, I've talked.
He told me to let him know. He thinks it's good. So
because I've talked to the choreographers of the G.I. Joe movies, and they were all astonished and aghast what happened to the work they did on those.
Yeah, movies. I think you mentioned that.
Kenji Tanagaki for what's his name?
Snake Eyes. Yeah,
Snake Eyes. Well,
exactly.
Not Snake Eyes. What's the name of the? Was it Snake Eyes?
Snake Eyes. Snake Eyes. Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
All
but
right.
Now let's get to Damsel. That's the next one for.
I have not heard any good things about it.
Well, I have the way. Well, first of all, remember,
Okay.
I'm a man who was born of a schizophrenic and raised by a bipolar manic depressive.
Okay.
So when there's a movie about an evil stepmother who gets what she deserves in no uncertain terms, I'm happy.
Right. Right.
So the trick here is it's a Netflix movie, so it's too long. It's
Okay.
clearly too long.
Okay.
You can watch the first 15 minutes because they make the first 15 minutes 45 minutes. They don't need the 45 minutes. They needed 15 minutes. That establishes the plot. Then immediately go to the last half hour. Immediately. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Just fast forward. You can see it go by.
Right.
And the last half hour is awesome.
Okay.
I love, because that's when everything that should have happened does happen. And that's all I want. Because I'm sitting there going, you better do what I want you to do. Because it's an evil mother doing awful things.
Gotcha.
Awful things. And I want her to get hers in no uncertain terms. I just wanted Bobby Billy Brown, whatever her name is, Millie handles it, but Millie doesn't kick her. I just wanted her at the end to kick her head like a soccer ball. But the last half hour is very satisfying for me.
Okay. All right.
So now, speaking of fast forward.
Okay.
Roadhouse.
Yes.
Now we're jumping from Netflix to Prime Video.
Yeah.
It's Doug Liman. Do you know who Doug Liman is?
Yes. Edge of Tomorrow.
Edge of Tomorrow.
One of my favorite sci-fi movies ever.
And Swingers.
And
Edge of Tomorrow is also one of my favorite action movies.
Yes.
And also, this choreographer is Steve Brown. This is his first job as a fight coordinator. But he was the stunt coordinator on Avatar: Way of Water.
Right.
So these are big guys.
Okay.
So it starts super interesting. It's also too long. It is also too long.
Yeah.
Prime Video is copying Netflix. But it was super interesting. The way it started was it had the Jake Gyllenhaal character. They establish a sequence where he comes in and establishes himself as smart.
Mm-hmm.
And I went, interesting. He does something where he doesn't have to fight. It looks like it's going to be a huge fight. This is in the first half hour.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a huge fight, but he doesn't fight. He gets smart. And I went, but then there's something else that happens. That's, again, very interesting. Again, it's Auction Film Autopsy. The character is suicidal. Mm-hmm. And I went, I wonder, so it looks like they might tie this in. And if he's a suicidal bent fighter, that might make some really interesting fight scenes. But then the first major fight scene happens.
Right.
Again, smart. Mm-hmm. He's so smart. He does it smartly. He does it cleverly. He does it wittily. He does it wisely. You know me. I'm not badass. I'm wise ass. I'm smart ass. And then the whole movie falls apart.
Okay.
From then until the end.
Yeah.
Especially when Connor comes in. it becomes, it stops being smart. But that's fine. I think you would enjoy it as a badass guy. It gets extremely badass.
Well,
ludicrously badass.
Well, do you really want to know what I feel about it?
Did you see it?
Yes, I saw it.
I want to know what you thought about it.
All right. So here's what I thought about it. I did the trailer reaction for it, and I was underwhelmed with the trailer. I was like, there were some things in the trailer I liked.
Yeah,
I was like, okay, well, that's kind of cool.
They were covering up,
but other than that, I wasn't like going insane over it like a lot of people in the comments were, and a lot of people in the comments were disappointed that I wasn't sucking the dick of the Roadhouse remake. And I'm like, dude, this trailer is fine. It doesn't, like, I'm not blown away by it. Monkey Man's trailers I'm blown away by.
No, have you seen the show? Fuck this trailer. The trailer is irrelevant. Did you see the
Right.
show?
No, I'm getting to it. I'm context.
Oh, then fuck.
Yeah.
No, stop
Yeah.
talking about the trailer. The trailer was
No,
not
I'm
put
getting
together.
to it. I'm getting to it. So I finally get
Okay.
around to watching the movie.
Oh, you have seen the movie. Okay.
Yes.
Okay,
I'm finally
good.
getting around to watching the movie.
Yeah.
And I watched it with Lady Fat Blood, and we could have done an hour-long review of the movie. Will we still do it? Probably not, because it's forgettable. It's forgettable. Rick, right in the beginning,
Yeah.
when we get to the first fight,
Yeah.
where we have Post Malone CGI fight,
Yeah, that's true.
I almost turned it off. I was like, what is this? I have no issues with Jake Gyllenhaal. He's a great actor. I have no issue with him playing Dalton.
Right.
Okay. And I thought, well, minor spoiler, when he is afraid to he's afraid of himself reacting in a certain way. I was like, oh shit, well, this is different.
See?
But then they don't really pull the trigger on that.
No.
He only really offs 3 people, and one of them is kind of accidental.
Yeah.
I was like, well, you kind of disappointed me in that. The movie's filled with forgettable characters. I could give a shit about his love interests. When they got together, I was like, really? Okay,
Yeah,
fine.
I felt the same way.
Get the fuck out of here.
But I was already fast forwarded.
I didn't care about the bookstore child that went out there with a little stupid bat. I thought she was going to get her ass kicked. Yeah. Like, I just did not care. I'm just sitting here just like, okay, I'm giving this movie a chance. I give everything a chance. I have a lot of love for the original. I'm giving this a chance. Again, I like Jake Gyllenhaal. I thought he was good for the role that he was given. Connor is a mixed bag because Connor,
yeah,
you can enjoy Connor if you're in the movie.
For being Connor.
Right. If you're a diehard Conor McGregor fan. So there is some funny moments with him. Like he can't stop his vehicle. He can't stop any vehicle unless he crashes.
Yeah.
Like there's some funny moments. Or you can watch Connor and be like, wow, his acting's bad. This is not good. And still get a good, bad entertainment out of his.
It's entertaining.
Right. But still, really, right around an hour and 15, I was like, oh, we're finally getting a good action scene.
Yeah.
An hour and 15, guys.
Yep.
You get
fast forward. You
get a slap fight earlier. You get a little fights here and there, but after an hour and 15, we finally get some carnage and some comedy, which I enjoyed.
Yeah.
And then the end finale fight with him and Connor was strange.
Yes, it was.
There was some great props and shout out to all the stuntmen and the people who took all the hard bumps. Mm-hmm. Amazing stuff. But it was shot in a way that felt like this was supposed to look like a one-take fight, but with edits.
Yeah.
It was weird. And even there's some good hits here and there, right? But then there's some clearly CGI green screen moments behind the fighters. And I'm like, why are we doing this? I get it. The director was trying to do something. He was trying to be creative with the camera work. He was trying something.
Yeah, he was trying to be done. Yeah.
But not everything for me worked. And the nicest thing I can say about this movie, even though everybody in the world is sucking its dick, nicest thing I could say about this movie is while watching this, I turned to the missus and I said, you know what? This probably would have worked a lot better if this was a series. This felt like a show to me. This felt like this is a Roadhouse Amazon Prime series. This is not a movie that the director should have been arguing over to be released in theater. When I saw this, I understand why he's mad, because when you make a movie, you want it to go to theater, and then all of a sudden we're like, sorry, we're putting your movie straight to streaming. So Doug has every right to be angry. But again, when I saw the trailer that everybody gave me shit about, I was like, this looks like an Amazon Prime movie.
It is.
Yeah. So again,
it's a fast forward special.
Do I hate this movie? No.
No.
But I was bored out of my mind, and I will never remember it.
Nothing on this episode is worthy of hate. Everything is okay this month. We're okay. It's just not. But I had a problem with the end of Roadhouse. I liked the end of the fight. I liked what happens at the end of the fight, because again, that was smart.
The stabbing.
But then, yes,
Right.
the double spin, the double, using the weapon at hand.
Right.
Because again, that's one of those things that I wanted
to
like
do
what I was saying in
a
Ghostbusters.
bigger body count, but that's just me. I'm greedy. But yeah, go ahead, Rick.
But that's fine. But then it turns out that the entire movie was just a setup for the sequel. And that's also one of my least favorite things.
Right.
Just make the movie, and if it's good enough, you can get a sequel. But don't give us bullshit. Yeah. And also, I'm hero oriented, not villain oriented. So again, Roadhouse is fine.
Right.
You don't have to suck its dick. All you have to do is fast forward. That's all you have to do.
It's a fifth film.
Yeah, it's a fifth, along with Damsel, and not with Shogun and Gentleman, but with fifth. All right.
But again, people arguing that this is the future of action and martial arts cinema.
You really have to stop listening to people on the web.
Well, that's my job.
I know it's your job. But you have to understand. You have to understand that's not reality of any sort. So for you to react to it as if it is reality, that makes me worry about you.
Oh, well, no, I have to speak my mind. This is my channel, and I have to speak my mind.
And also, just like you can't wait. Whenever you say everybody, that what I'm going to start correcting you whenever you say everybody too. Because every time you say everybody, I'm going to say all 8 billion people on this planet. No. All right, so let's.
They know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, all right, there you go.
All right.
And also, you get mad at them.
No, I don't get. They don't make me mad. They annoy me.
All right, that's a distinction. All right.
Next,
on to Disney Plus.
Okay.
Disney Plus has a show called Renegade Nell. They also have a show called The Artful Dodger.
Yeah, what is this? I
think they're both Hulu. They're both Hulu knockoffs that they put on this show. They're both taking place in this basically the same era of British history. And Artful Dodger is a continuation of Oliver Twist, with the character of the Artful Dodger who works for Fagin, and is a con man and stuff. Yeah. And he's trying to become a doctor, a surgeon, the Artful Dodger. And it's his adventures of trying to make. So it's very interesting, really nice cast, really beautiful, beautifully made. But Renegade Nell is like one of the most. I do not know how they sold this, because it's a wonderful actress from a very popular sitcom called Dairy Girls, and she's utterly charming. She's got charisma just pouring out of her, splashing out of her, exploding out of her. Nice. I mean, the moment she shows up on screen, you just go, oh, she's great. I like her. Wow. And it starts with it takes place back in the Victorian era of England. They're off in the woods. A stagecoach, not a stagecoach robber, an English stagecoach robber, a highwayman, has stopped a coach and is robbing everybody. And then there's this young lady, Nell, who's going by on her horse. She's coming back from a Napoleonic war, and she's exhausted and tired. And the highwayman, who thinks he's the star of the whole show, goes one of his guys to go get her. They punch her and they treat her poorly and all the rest of it. And she goes, and she basically says, "Don't fuck with me. You don't want to fuck with me." And then if you go show the poster again, you see that little shiny thing?
Yeah.
Well, a little shiny thing, like a bug, like a firefly, goes into her mouth. And suddenly you could see her eyes change. And she beats the shit out of these guys in such a way that, now you can show me again. I went, wow. I mean, just bam. And again, she's smart. She's not using fists. She's kicking them across the room. She's acting like somebody who's in the Napoleonic War. And I'm going, what the F is going on this show? She gets back home to a little village. Her father runs the pub. There's these guys who control the village, the son and the evil mother. And it turns out that little firefly is an elf. Oh. It's a little supernatural creature played by the guy who plays the Indian coach on Ted Lasso. he has wings. He flies into her mouth. He gives her superpowers. Then when she's done beating up people, he flies out again.
So it's it's a fantasy.
It's a fantasy adventure action historical.
Oh wow.
And it's like, I had to agree. Somebody else on the line said, it doesn't need all these genres. They could have told a straight story and it still would have been great. And basically, there's so much going on all the time and new things every episode that it's interesting. But I would have much preferred it to be straightforward. But still, she's awesome to watch. And it's beautifully made. And who directed it? Do I have the director? Yeah, Sally Wainwright is the director and does a really nice. And she did a series called Last Tango in Halifax, a UK series. Very artful, very well done, very interesting. And James Embry did the choreography and the action, and he's best known for Enola Holmes 2, a Netflix movie with Bobby Brown playing, the sister of Sherlock Holmes. Mm-hmm. So it is what it is. So if that interests you at all, it's worthwhile. But it's nothing. It is nothing without her, number one, and it's nothing compared to the other major release on Disney Plus this month, and that is
one of my favorite shows growing up.
Watch the show.
Okay.
It is a direct continuation of the original show. It is also Marvel. I wish I had a glove here. If I had a glove, let's pretend this is a glove.
Okay.
It's Marvel doing this. I wish I had a microphone. I would drop it.
Okay.
What they're doing is saying, because I've told you this in the past, which is that Marvel was, when Bob Iger retired from Marvel, they replaced him with a saboteur, a double agent, who made sure that every single company that Marvel, Star Wars, Pixar, Disney Animation, all their movies started to suck horribly.
Yes.
Inconceivably. So now that he's gone, Bob Iger had to come in and everybody else had to come in. They had to get rid of all the sycophants and the yes men that Chapek hired. And so then they had to save everything. And so they had to do major stuff. So X-Men 97 is them saying, look, we haven't lost our minds. We know exactly what we're doing. We were kept from doing it by the saboteur, who we can't say is a saboteur, or else it'll be a huge mess. Right. And they're still trying to sabotage Disney. And they couldn't have done a better job. But X-Men 97 is like, this is what Marvel comic books is. Nice. This is what Marvel comics books is. And anybody who's seen the show knows, because we're doing the show. And as such, I sort of went, yeah, okay. And it brought me right back to reading the X-Men comics.
Nice.
And also the way they do the animation is very, very smart, because they're doing the style. Mm-hmm. Remember, animation is two things. And let me do it so you see my two things. One, design. Two, animation. They do the design of the original show, which is not wildly sophisticated, but the animation is sophisticated.
Nice.
The design is the original. The animation is like, so it's, I'm like, oh, you guys are being super smart. Thank you so much.
Nice.
So yeah, they're saying we're back.
Yeah, I saw the trailer reaction for it, and I was like, this looks fun, man.
Yeah, it's more than fun. It's very heartening.
Is it finished yet, or still going?
Still going.
Okay.
But just like Doctor Who and the rest of it, they're telling you what the episodes are.
Okay.
Well, wait a minute. Hold on. I think they put them all up at the same time. I'm sorry. I don't think they're releasing. I think you can binge them.
Okay.
Because I haven't finished watching them yet, but I'm pretty sure they're all up.
Nice.
Because again, they're being smart. They're not going to make you wait week to week. They're just going to show you.
Yeah, I've heard good things about Cyclops too. Like they're finally doing Cyclops right. So
I think they're just finally doing Jean Grey right. I think they're doing everything right.
Nice. All
right. I love it. I'm just very impressed. And remember, I'm the guy who read the original comics.
That's right. Yeah.
So I also I saw the original animated show.
Yeah. Well, maybe by next month's AFA, You know, you have the guy who read the comics. I read some of the comics too, growing up. I was a diehard fan of the show.
Then watch the show.
We'll see of the original show. So we'll see if we're on the same page next month. We may differ.
Well, if I finish it and
Uh-huh.
I don't like it, then I'll agree with you. But if it stays as strong as it is at the moment, as I've gotten, I think, to episode 4.
Okay.
If it ends, because you know me, I'm all about the nailing the landing.
That's
I'm
right.
all about nailing the landing. If they don't nail the landing, I'm going to be.
Yeah, you'll hear it from Rick.
But
All
so
right.
far, so great.
Copy that.
So now let's jump over to Haya.
All right.
And we're kind of cheating. We're cheating in a way in that 2 of the movies we're going to be talking about aren't on Haya yet. We should really have saved them for next month's because they're going to be on, well, this month. They're going to be on in April. But we're going to start with the one that's on now, which is Anti-Drug Operation.
Boom.
Anti-Drug Operation, again, this is another streaming movie. It's another 1 hour and 10-minute film. So you don't have to fast forward through it. But the thing that it made, and do you recognize anybody on that poster?
No.
Nobody. I didn't, and I know everybody. I wish Frank was still here because I wanted him to see the poster and to tell me, do
Frank
you
would
recognize any? I don't actually.
No?
I don't think he would.
Okay.
Because what's happening now? This is also this movie, Anti-Drug Operation. Its opening credits. The name of the company is something. It's a alliterative title, but they're openly admitting that they're making it for streaming.
Okay.
The production company is like Super Streaming Incorporated. They're not saying that this is a real movie. We're making this for streaming. But it's also, I'm watching and going, wow. Even though I don't know any of these people, none of these guys are stars. You look at Nell, and that's a star. You look at these people, it's kind of like, everybody's a little off. They're all not, we're going to be talking about some other movies where everybody's on. You can say that's a movie star.
Gotcha.
These are streaming stars made by streaming producers and streaming directors. But hour and 10 minutes just rocket. It's a rocket right through. And it is what it says it is. It's in the genre of White Storm, which is the higher level ones, where it's they're making the movies that China will allow them to make. And China says, if you can do an anti-drug movie, go crazy. We're not gonna say boo.
Right.
Just make sure that you're a team of good Chinese cops taking down the evil drug guys. And they do that. And they do it surprisingly well. And even though the sets aren't really tremendous, everything's smart, everything's clever, I was like going, this is okay, they set the bar. And then I saw the next one.
Okay.
Should we do 1%er first? Because you saw 1%er, right?
Right. We could do 1% and end with Hunt if you want.
Well, yeah, we'll end with Hunt.
Okay.
1%er is the new movie by Yudai Yamaguchi, choreographed by Kensuke Sonomura, who's best known for Hydra and Baby Assassins, which has a very specific new style of action choreography, of specifically fighting. And also stars Tak Sakaguchi. And I feel a little bit about this movie the way I felt about Nell, in that it didn't need all that extra stuff. You know what I'm talking about, right?
I got you. Yeah.
The basic concept is that this is an action. Tak plays an action star who has, because he's gone all into his head, and I've recognized his behavior because I've known action stars who go all into their head, and he wants to make the most realistic fight movie ever. And he gets his chance to do it by going out into this island, only to find out that they're in the middle of a triad war.
Yeah.
And that's really all they needed. And he has the style of choreography. What does he call it? The whip? What is it called? The wind? I think it's called the wind.
Wave.
The wave. I knew it was a W word. but it's very similar to the choreography in Hydra and Baby Assassins, where
Reborn.
they're doing a little.
Yeah.
They're fighting in close.
Right.
And basically, if you don't know about action, it looks like they're having a slap fight. It looks like they're all doing this when they get close.
Uh-huh.
But it's really, really, really good. But then it goes off the rails a couple of times, but still in an interesting way.
Yeah.
And the choreography and then what's great about Tak is that the character, I'm watching the fights and going, man, you're not doing it as effectively as you could have. You could rip off their face and kick them in the balls, and that would be a lot more effective. And then I realized, oh, he doesn't want to kill anybody.
Yeah.
And I kind of dug that he didn't want to kill anybody. So he fought everybody in a way where he didn't kill them. He just broke a lot of stuff. He crippled them.
Oh yeah.
But he didn't kill them. So I was going, But then they do something at the end. Should we reveal? You guys want to vote? Should we reveal it? What they do at the end?
Spoilers. Spoiler alert. There you go.
Here we go.
Out there. They can turn away now if they want.
They fight club it.
Yeah.
They fight club it.
Mm-hmm.
But Fight Club, there was a reason for them to fight club it in Fight Club. Yeah. In this, I didn't see any reason for him to fight club it. Did you see any reason for him to fight club it?
Well, number one, this fight was amazing.
Especially this is. I think he's a Jeet master.
Yeah. But I when I saw this fight, this is an amazing end finale fight. When I saw this fight, I immediately thought of you, Rick.
Yeah.
Because he's a Jeet Kune Do guy, but he didn't fight like Bruce Lee. He didn't just, I'm gonna fight like Bruce Lee now.
No.
He did his own version.
He did Jeet Kune Do. Well, that's what Jeet Kune Do is.
Right.
Jeet Kune Do is what Bruce said, which is learn everything you can, then make it your own.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that was his style. That. So I really enjoyed that too. But I liked all the fights in this.
Right.
I understood that everybody that he crippled was the same stuntman over and over and over again because they all have masks on.
Right.
But still, every single fight was entertaining and interesting. But the extra little Phillips, I was going. And wasn't. And then the final thing was again like, okay, I hope they do a sequel, but I hope they just make a fight movie.
Right. Yeah, I get it. I think Tak,
the final fight is very worthwhile.
I think Tak was trying to make a statement with this. Sometimes with his movies, he gets very experimental.
Oh yeah, what do you think he was trying to make?
That's what he was trying to do.
But what was the statement he was trying to make?
Well, the very last line he says.
Let me get right. That was the other thing I hated.
Okay.
The very last line, because you know what he says. What's the opening of the sentence? He says that action stars or movie stars
are strong. Yeah.
But he shouldn't have. He says movie stars are.
Stars. Yeah.
Action stars are, and then he says a 5-letter word starting with S.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted him to say a 5-letter word starting with S.
Okay.
What's the 5-letter word I wanted him to say?
What is it?
I don't want you to be badass. What do I want you to be?
Smart.
Bingo.
Okay.
What he should have said at the end to show that he had grown and he had learned is that action stars are smart.
Okay.
And then I would have gone, yay!
That would have worked too. Sure.
But it would have worked better because what he says is action stars are strong. And I went, oh. Action stars shouldn't be strong. They should be smart. That way they don't have to be strong.
Right.
But they can be if they want to. It's just that they shouldn't hurt themselves. But he showed himself. That's also why I was disappointed, because for the rest of the movie, he showed himself to be smart.
Gotcha.
He was smart in everything he did.
Yeah.
Except the really weird stuff. So now, so I recommend for all you guys to get Haya and to watch One Percenter. But
the Blu-ray is available right now from
the Blu-ray.
The Almighty Go USA.
Yeah, it's coming out, I think, on the 9th on Haya.
Yes.
But I checked with the master of Haya today, and I said, "Are you getting Hunt the Wicked?"
Boom.
And he said, "Yes, we are."
Yeah. Woohoo.
And I went,
sold from the trailer, Rick. When you sent the trailer to me, I was sold.
Yeah, check the trailer. Also, they have the full movie on YouTube, but not with English subtitles.
Right.
But, oh my, OMG. If I thought anti-drug operation raised the bar,
Right. For streaming.
Hunt the Wicked
Yeah.
raises it to the sky. I mean, I want everybody to see the movie. First of all, because it's an amazing action movie. There's so much action. I have to admit, there's so much action that by the end of the movie, it never becomes a physiology-free video game action movie. But yeah, it's just like by the end of it, I'm kind of tired. Because it's like you guys does, but they keep twisting, twisting. And as Jared King, the great New York City cop who watches all the streaming movies and does his reviews okay, I introduced a new review for him because he either says bad or okay. Right. And I said, Hunt the Wicked, it's better than okay. And he goes, oh, it's still okay. I said, no, it's okay plus.
Gotcha.
It's okay plus.
Yeah.
I defy anybody to tell me how long it took to make and how much it cost, because it looked like it took a year and cost billions.
Wow.
So many people, so much equipment, so many cars, so many guns, so many boats, so many everything, so many fights.
Yeah.
And look at those two men on either side of that line. That's Zhu Mio, who's everybody says Jet Li's son because he played Jet Li's son in 2 movies back in the 90s.
Right.
So now he's an actual kung fu star who's doing a lot of stuff. And there's Andy On.
Yeah.
Andy On they're both great.
Yeah.
That's the difference. And you can look at 2 of them and you can say they're stars. And if you get Haya and you haven't seen Blithe Swordsman, Eye for an Eye, also starring Zhao Miu, I've seen that like at least 6 times. And I'll be seeing this when it comes up onto Haya. I'll be seeing this at least 6 times because I don't watch the fight scenes again and again and again.
Yes.
They do something so smart. And also what's amazing to me is that, show the poster again.
Okay.
Show the other poster with everybody on it. The women and all the other male action stars. Those 3 women at the top. I'm just going, they're the best. They're the best I've seen lately. So if this is the bar that streamers are setting now, I thought the Kung Fu film was over.
Right.
This one is like going, it's not Kung Fu. They're still it's still martial arts. It's still Wushu. And they're doing great wuxia movies too, because I discovered 2 channels. They have 2 Japanese channels on YouTube. Ninja versus Samurai and Samurai versus Ninja. Just type that into search.
Okay.
They're entire channels with all these amazing Japanese swordplay movies, amazing ninja movies, Ninja versus Samurai and Samurai versus Ninja.
Nice.
And then I forgot what it's called. I'll get the title of it for next month and tell you there are 2 YouTube channels that just show all Chinese streaming movies. Of every imaginable genre. But if they're going to be as good as this, I've got the rest of my life worked out for me.
Nice.
My gosh.
I'm just sold just with our 2 leads going at it. I'm already sold.
Guys, check out the trailer. Go to YouTube and check out the trailer. Yeah. See if they have a dubbed version yet or a subtitled version. Right. But so that was a great way to end the month.
Hunt the Wicked, baby. Coming soon to Haya. Keep your eyes out for that.
And also the title is very clear that it's basically it's the Beekeeper. It's the Chinese version of the Beekeeper.
All right.
Because the whole operation is about hunting the wicked.
Gotcha.
So smart.
Nice.
So poetic. Oh, yay us.
Yeah, for sure.
I envy you, viewers. I envy you. Go watch that movie.
All right.
Don't watch Roadhouse. Watch Hunt the Wicked.
God, there you go. That's what I'm talking about.
Watch Shogun and Hunt the Wicked.
All right, copy that. Well, I think that's the last one
and X-Men
today.
Yeah, that's it.
So time for Rick's recap. For
Our
those of you that
recap.
are just popped in just now.
Oh yeah, you're going to put it closer in the middle, so I have to go over here.
Quick recap for you guys who just got here before we end it. We'll just start from the top to the bottom. 1% Warrior.
Well, we'll do a little bit, but basically, yeah, it's
Okay.
great.
There you go. All right. So I have to join you on that one since I've seen that one.
Yeah.
Anti-drug operation.
That's that.
Okay.
Yep.
Hunt the Wicked. That's probably going to be me as well too. X-Men 97 so far. Nice.
Oh, wait a minute. Did it wrong.
Oh,
okay, Nell. Okay, I did it wrong.
There you go.
It's
Nell.
On the side.
Nell, that's the Renegade.
Yeah, on the side.
Okay. All right. Roadhouse.
Oh, in the middle.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah, that's about right.
In the middle.
All right. Damsel.
Last half hour. all those people who have been mistreated by mothers.
Just skip to the last half hour. There you go.
Last half hour.
The Gentleman. All right. Okay. Shogun.
Boom, 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 boom.
Right.
Boom, boom.
Dune Part 2, Electric Boogaloo. Okay. All right. Kung Fu Panda 4.
Almost this, but still,
Okay.
it's entertaining.
Okay.
It's dumb from a kung fu standpoint.
Frozen Empire. Okay. And GXK.
Oh, 2 thumbs up? 2 thumbs up? Okay.
For me.
Okay, that's fine.
All right. Boom. I think that's it.
Oh, wait a minute. No, it's it thumbs up. Sorry,
Okay,
not 2 thumbs up. 1 thumb up. 1 thumb up.
Okay, gotcha. And then
Because it's
happy
yin
birthday
yang.
to Frank. Happy birthday to Frank. That was here.
Yay.
And he is the commentary Beastmaster Remaster. I just got this in. Inspector. The Inspector Wears Skirts #2.
Yeah, baby.
Blu-ray. And Frank Jang's commentary is on there. And maybe, Rick, by next month's AFA, we can talk about this.
I believe we can.
Yes. All right.
And also, if you get the DVD or the Blu-ray of the Magic Crystal, that's the first audio commentary in decades where Frank and I are both doing it together.
Yeah, that's epic. And that's the Vinegar Syndrome release.
Vinegar Syndrome.
Okay, there you go. There you go, guys. Go to Vinegar Syndrome. Get the Magic. Was it Magic Crystal? Magic
Crystal.
And the Bruce Lee exploitation box set. Get it while you can, because it's selling like hotcakes.
The box set will keep selling, but the one with the special ones those
right.
gone.
Yeah, that was crazy. 48 hours, it was gone.
Not surprised.
There we go. Jake just got his copy of Inspector. Look at that. Yeah, there we go. All right, guys. Love you. Thanks again for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the Old Samurai Guy. Follow Frank Jang and Rick Myers below. And if you want to buy some awesome autographed merch from many filmmakers like John Woo and many more, you guys know what you need to do.
You want a piece of me?
You want a piece of me?
You want a piece of me?
Oh, you want a piece of me?
You want a piece of me? You want a piece of me?
You got it!
Get a piece of Rick.
That's right. In the description box below, check out the store. Buy some exclusive merch.
And hurry, because we're selling them out. So, get the posters. I have the sign, not signed by Bruce Lee, but a Bruce Lee poster that's signed by the screenwriter. I have John Woo poster signed by John Woo.
Autographs, photos, all that stuff.
If that's not gone yet. So
right. So there you go. Make sure you guys check it out. Thanks again for watching. Join me tomorrow, same fat time, same fat channel. I'm going to be hanging out with Grandmaster Master Curry. He's got a fascinating story with his journey with martial arts. And
let me quickly say, check.
That's tomorrow.
If you guys don't have my Kung Fu Rick Myers at Gmail email, because I see Nate is asking me a question. Don't have time to answer that now, but I'd love to answer it. So send me an email.
Yes. Send him. Follow the links below. It'll take you right to Rick,
and I'll answer your question.
There you go. Rick, love you, brother. Don't go anywhere, but I'll see you guys on the next one.
Love you guys,
baby. Keep watching martial arts, action movies, Kung Fu, represent, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care. Roadhouse, the greatest